All set.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Game Not Game podcast. My name is Green, and with me, as always, is my co-host Zen from his channel Zen and Cyrene. How you doing, Zen?
I am finally done with all the madness that's been going on in my life for the last few weeks, including that one move in which I was kind of done with moving at 4:45 in the morning. That was a good move. uh, Finally done with all of that. Yeah, so
Nice.
hopefully everything should be stable-ish from now on.
Yeah, finally back to regular podcasting. Sorry for the skipped weeks.
Yeah.
Here we are. Professional stream time indeed.
Yes, that's all our streams. Professional stream time.
All right. So first up on our docket, how was your Eclipse experience?
My Eclipse experience was basically me saying, you know what, I'm going to be too busy with work anyway, because that's like 95% of my life. But at where we are in Northern California, the eclipse reached the most eclipsey it'll ever get for this time at about 10 a.m. And I did look out. I walked out onto my balcony and I did see that yes, it looked like something out of the Twilight Zone. I guess not that bad, but it was really surreal to see that the sun was a lot dimmer than that I would normally want it to be, or have it be anyway.
Yeah, here the peak was 63%. So basically I was outside and it just felt like I was wearing sunglasses. It was really surreal, actually. It didn't get dark enough to be a stark difference. It was just like something's weird here. And
Yeah.
birds were flapping around and looking around like, what the fuck is this shit? And that was about as extreme as it got here.
Sorry to interrupt you for a bit, but I want to extend a warm welcome to the Raiders coming in to the stream.
Hey, Skull Gent Gaming, thank you very much for the raid. How's it going, everybody?
Hello, Lisma, just here for Cess. And Happy Dog Shaking Floppy Toy? That's a very, very evocative name.
Happy Dog Shaking Floppy Toy.
Who had to
Man.
talk so many people out of staring at the sun eclipse day. Oh, if only you had a direct line to the White House.
I was actually just about to bring up very interesting thing to note about this eclipse. During and immediately following the eclipse, there are some extreme peaks of search terms on Google, including "can't see" and "eyes hurt."
I... So did any news agency follow up on this that you know of that actually went to see if yes there was an associated rise in eye related injuries after the eclipse?
You have to imagine, right? Why else would suddenly like 5,000% as many people be searching for "I can't see" right after the eclipse?
Oh my god.
Like, surely some of them are just searching because like they think it's funny to see the new posts people have made to that effect. But like there's got to be some correlation here. There's got to be some people who are like, "WebMD, help me out. I can't see. Also, I can't read your website. Google, read it to me." Okay, Google, read WebMD article on "can't see."
You see, when humanity goes blind after staring at the eclipse for the next one, like 2024 or something, the AI will be totally ready to help us and then take over our position as a supreme force on the earth, you know?
There you go, man. That's the advantage that AI have. They can just stare directly at the sun. It doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
I was curious to see what it would look like if I pointed my phone camera at the sun. Turns out it looks like nothing at all. Even at peak eclipse, it's completely just it's overexposed to the point that it just still looks like a sphere.
Yeah.
So, interesting. I did. My aunt gave me a pair of cardboard eclipse glasses that had a thing on the side that said like, "Oh, it's certified with." I can't remember what. But whatever the radiation standards board or whatever. But I didn't 100% trust them. So when I was watching the eclipse, I mostly did not watch the eclipse. But I like 4 different times put on the glasses and looked at the sun for less than a second at a time, just to check it out. But I did not trust those things.
And when you looked at the sun, did you see like otherworldly monsters fly out the portal that's actually the eclipse?
No, I wasn't at the totality, so
Ah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah. No, the most we got was 63%. So basically, I just saw an inverted crescent moon. I was like, okay, cool. Yep, there's a chunk out of that thing.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that.
I was way more fascinated by the fact that it was just so dim outside. That was really fascinating.
Me too. That was the part that really got to me. I wasn't expecting it because I'm a dumbass, right? I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm just not going to see anything. So I was really surprised when the sun went dim like that.
Yeah, I was like, I wasn't sure what it would look like because I know that our eyes like adjust to brightness. So I was like, how much am I going to actually be able to tell that it's less than half as much light as usual? And the answer is actually a lot. Like it really does just look like you're wearing sunglasses.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what's up?
Oh, nothing. Go ahead.
No, I said if you have any experiences, chat / viewers about the eclipse, any interesting things to talk about, please let us know.
Yeah. On that topic, I have a few more things. Right after or right during the eclipse, you could look on Google's traffic map of the entire US, and you could trace the path of totality just from the traffic. Because every single major freeway on the path of totality was just bright red on Google's "Don't drive here" filter. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Hey, I would stop too.
Yeah, totally. There was also a live stream from Kentucky where there was a farm that had fainting goats, and they were streaming to see if the fainting goats would faint during the eclipse. They did not.
Wait. When you say fainting goats, that means this farm is known for goats that faint just any time and not just during an eclipse?
Fainting goats are a specific breed of goat that, like, their reaction to any sort of surprise is just all their muscles not lock up and they flop over.
I had no idea this was a thing.
I can't believe you've never seen this before.
I have never seen this before.
There's really good YouTube videos. If you just go on YouTube, everybody, I highly recommend this, of like flocks of fainting goats that are surprised by something, and they all just like synchronously just lock up and fall over on their sides.
Wait, so
the funniest shit.
What did they do to surprise them? Like falcons, cucumbers, people with funny hats. What did they do?
Yeah, loud noises, mostly, I think.
I see.
Yeah, like a foghorn or something. I don't remember exactly what it is, but yeah, they get freaked out. I think like being chased by a dog will also do it, but just like something that freaks them out. Anything that causes surprise in them, their reaction to surprise is they can't move anymore.
Right, okay. And you're telling me that somebody sent a live streamer, or they had a live stream to see if goats would faint?
Yeah, a farm that had fainting goats live streamed their goats during the eclipse to see if they would all pass out when the eclipse happened. They did not, but there was a guy who like demonstrated what it would look like if the goats fainted.
It's like good. those shows in which you go on a boat and you're supposed to fish, or it's a documentary in which they're catching fish and they put a prop fish on the view so that they have something.
Yeah, this is what it would have looked like if we caught a fish.
Yep. Or if a goat fainted.
It was basically that, but a lot better, because it was just a man laying on his back with his legs and arms sticking straight up.
Good. Hey, that guy probably got paid to do it, huh? Like, was he a reporter or something?
I don't know. I only saw screenshots. I didn't actually catch the stream because I was outside actually participating in the eclipse.
Right, I mean, those goats probably did not get too surprised because they thought it was nighttime. Right, that's not too surprising for a goat.
Yeah, exactly. Man, there was a stupid ass article I read that was like a reporter trying to get a vet to say that you shouldn't let your pets see the sun because they're going to stare at it and hurt their eyes. And the vet was like, I mean, it's just, your pets aren't going to stare at the sun, man. That's not what they do. But if you want to be safe, keep them in your house, I guess. Yeah, the premise of this article, which the reporter decided on ahead of time, was we're going to tell people there's a serious danger with letting your pets outside during the eclipse because they'll stare at the sun, as if they have any fucking idea what's going on. Like, it's so... That was one thing I was struck by during the eclipse. was how not obvious it was what was happening. Like, it just imagining being a human before we had any knowledge of astronomy is just like, I would think fucking evil spirits were coming or something. I'd be like, what is going on? The sun's just getting dark.
Yeah,
but it's not actually. But it's not the sun. You can't tell the source of the darkness is the sun. It's just atmospherically everything is turning dark.
I had a Happy Dog Shaking Floppy Toy says I had a guy ask me if his cows would stare at the sun.
Yeah, and they do not because your cows don't know there's an eclipse happening. Like, the only reason humans have to worry about staring at the sun is because we're smart enough to know what an eclipse is and dumb enough to look at it anyway. No other animal has that combination of traits. They're just going to be like, why is it so fucking dark in the daytime? But it still hurts to look at the sun, so they're still not going to do that.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, it says... He says, or she says, imagine an eclipse where every cow across the US went blind. That sounds like a science fiction story waiting to be written for, I don't know.
In a world
Animal
where
Anonymous.
all cows are blind. One cow. I don't know what the one
Turned
cow
his
is.
face away.
The cow that didn't look. Coming to the theaters this summer.
The cow that didn't look. Oh man, that's the new Snakes on a Plane.
I saw a really good combination of tweets that I really, really hope is fake, but I still loved it. The first one was a girl on Snapchat who was holding up like blackened glasses, and they were like, "Yo, just take an old pair of glasses, hold a lighter under and around them." Get the lenses all black, and then you can look at the sun. It really works. And then there was one from the next day that was like, yo, I can't see out of my right eye at all.
No, I hope that's a joke.
I really hope it's a joke too, but I still loved it. It's really fucking good. And one last Eclipse tweet I want to bring up also. This woman said that her son was at blacksmithing camp during the eclipse, came home with a blade that he had forged in the darkness of the totality, and he named it Fenrir's Fang because Fenrir swallowed the sun.
Like, you know, I imagine this guy, this kid, his hair spontaneously grew long and wild as he did it.
Yeah.
You know, his shirt, he's wearing like a leather jerkin now.
Yeah, this guy is either the hero or the villain of a fantasy novel.
He really is. Oh my god. The epic of,
or he could be like a side character like Celebrimbor from Lord of the Rings too.
Oh god, this is going way back in the podcast. But imagine if he he put his knife down, he's done working on it. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a crow comes down and grabs it. A crow
That's not that
somewhere
long ago. Dude, we've missed so many episodes. That was only like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, he grabs it. You know, he's that crow from Canada that wields knives.
Yeah, and suddenly the crow's feathers all turn white.
It's a crow wielding an Eclipse forged knife.
The blade suddenly glows. Oh man. There's so many. I mean, this is obvious, right? But there's so many crows around here. I just walked past a bunch that were having a meeting or something. They're just sitting on the grass, squawking at each other very loudly. They learned it from humans.
That's true. That's probably true. We're spoiled crows with our civilization and everything.
Yeah.
All right then.
That's our Eclipse news.
Yeah, the Eclipse was very interesting, honestly. First because I've never seen one before, even a partial one, and second because people went a bit nuts. But
yeah,
that's just life, I guess.
I've heard that the total eclipse was really awesome, though. It's something I'd like to see sometime.
Yeah, me too. It's the next one's in 2024, right?
Yeah, I don't know where the totality is going to be for that one, but you're right. There is going to be one partial one somewhere in the U.S. at that time.
From what I remember, excuse me, looking at the map, I think Cleveland is in the 12th of totality, so I guess I'll go to Cleveland.
There you go.
I don't know why I remember Cleveland of all places.
Yeah, man. Cleveland's gonna have the biggest like tourism surge it's ever had.
Yeah, they'll just bring Drew Carey back for some reason.
I have a friend who lives in Florence, Oregon, and there was that's just a quiet little fucking seaside town, and it was packed with people. It was absolutely insane, and that's the case for places all across the U.S. I'm looking forward to talking to another friend who actually his wife made him drive up to Wyoming for the eclipse.
Wow.
I'm interested to hear how that was.
Yeah, I would have done something special maybe if I hadn't been like completely like my ass kicked from my move and my very hectic vacation. So
totality in 2024, according to Happy Dog Shaking Floppy Toy, it crosses from Pacific Mexico up to Vermont.
There you go. So the East Coasters will get their chance in 2024.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, more of another chance, rather, because the Eclipse did go to the East Coast as well.
Yeah, northern East Coast and southern West Coast will get more of a chance this time.
The only things I know about Cleveland is from the hastily made Cleveland tourism video, which I've never watched, but now I will, Amber Frost.
Dude, if that's fucking true, that there's another eclipse in 6 years with the totality going across the U.S., what the fuck was all that shit about? Oh, once in a lifetime opportunity, everybody. Literally 6 years later, it happens again. That doesn't seem right.
Maybe the people who are tweeting that are like cicadas.
Yeah, that's it. That was a fucking highbrow joke. I was like, what? Oh man,
I don't know what bullshit
the joke
comes
is
out of my mouth sometimes.
The joke is that bugs don't live very long. But let's fucking talk about something else. You want to talk about Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, let's talk about Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese has been... We've talked about Chuck E. Cheeses before on our podcast, mostly to explain why Chuck E. Cheese is called Chuck E. Cheese. His middle name's Entertainment. Do you remember that?
I knew it. That's information that's in my brain, but I haven't dug it up in so long. Holy fuck, I love that so much. Chuck Entertainment Cheese.
Yep. I mean, that's a wasted neuron in your head somewhere. So
no, I love it. I need that neuron more than any. If ever I suffer brain damage that makes me forget Chuck E. Cheese's middle name, just pull the plug. It's not worth it anymore.
Well, unfortunately, Chuck E. Cheese did pull the plug on its animatronic robot band.
I'm sorry, the way you pronounced that made it sound like animatronic.
Animatronic.
Which sounds like something I really hope is going to be at the next CES.
It sounds like a bad fantasy sci-fi novel, honestly. It's like a mix between shamanistic tradition and robots.
God, that's my fucking startup right there. Animatronics.
Like AI shamans?
No, just a smart enema.
I really am just focused on the idea of like a robotic AI, like crowdsourced shaman now.
See, that sounds great too.
Oh god.
Yeah, we need to make a chatbot that just acts like a wise spiritual advisor and put it on Twitch.
Yeah, and then they crowdsource what traditional herbs the herbal concoctions you should eat. And a lot of people might die at first, but eventually they'll get there.
There you go. Yeah, it's machine learning.
Yeah,
that's how
eventually
we're gonna ride this all the way to AI solving immortality.
Yep, AI solving immortality is to hook everyone up into a giant hive mind.
Yep,
that's it. That's the solution.
There you go. Animatronics, everybody. Visit my new website, animatronics.com.
Yep.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Oh god.
I don't know if that's real.
So I'm reading NPR now, and yeah, they're Pizza Time Players. That's the name of the robot Chuck E. Cheese band. It's not breaking down. Oh my god, it's breaking up. It's breaking up, and they are going to be phased out over the next few years, and they might have a reunion concert already planned.
The fucking Hollywood Bowl, everybody, come on down. Fucking Chuck E. Cheese reunion concert. God, I would love that so much.
Yeah, so here's my thought, right? My first thought when I saw this news was that I hope to God they replace the robots with people in costumes.
There you go. God, that would be the total opposite of robots taking our jobs.
It would be. It's strike one for humanity, people.
Yeah. Strike one implies something bad.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Humanity strikes back.
It could be strike one for humanity, though. The robots are going to see that and be like, they think they can take our fucking jobs?
Yeah.
Strike one, humanity.
Yeah.
3 strikes and you're out.
Yeah. Going to put you in the hive mind. I had heard that they actually are going to get live performances, but I haven't found a source for that. So.
Okay.
So that's that.
Well, it's the end of an era, everybody.
It is the end of an era at Chuck E. Cheese. However, there's a link to a YouTube video which I did not watch before this, unfortunately, and I'm going to link that in chat right now so that anyone who was interested can watch it. It is called Top 10 Chuck E. Cheese Animatronic Malfunctions. That's something I will definitely watch later on because I want to go back to being traumatized as an 8-year-old kid by like spooky dolls.
That sounds great. I want to see that movie. Oh man.
Alright, so that's it for Chuck E. Cheese, I guess. You had a whole bunch of topics. Which ones do you want to talk about now?
I did. Why don't we for once talk about some video games?
Yeah, let's talk about some video games.
So Derek Yu, a few of you may recognize him as the creator of Spelunky, which is, objectively speaking, the best roguelike in existence. Just a really fucking good video game. He's been gone for years. Like, not gone. Like, he wrote a book, which was really good, but like, we really haven't gotten any intimation of what he's been up to since then. Turns out he was making 50 different pseudo NES games. Like, you know that fucking, what's it called? Like, something 51, like Super 51 or something.
Right. Suda 50. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, it was a
Action 53.
Action 53. Yeah, it was just
something like that.
An NES cart with a bunch of different shitty games on it.
Right.
It seems to me like he saw that and was like, I could do that better. So he's limited himself to NES color palettes and like pixel counts and shit, and just made 50 NES games. So
let's be clear about something. It's not just him. There's a bunch of other developers on the project. He's the one organizing all of this. Yeah.
Sorry, that's my bad. It's a large project headed by a Derek Yu, creator of Spelunky, who also is not sole creator of Spelunky. Obviously, he's just kind of the big name behind it. But this is his next project. He's Peter Molyneuxing this shit.
Yep.
So yeah, 50 NES games. That's coming to PC in 2018. I'm really excited about that, actually.
So am I, actually. I'm looking at the website, the Polygon article on this, and there's a backstory to this. They were all created in the 80s by a fictional company that was obscure but ahead of its time. And unified by a 32-color palette. They're full games and not micro games and mini games. And the entire collection could take more than 100 hours to play through. So all of those things sound actually very good to me.
Yeah. God, I hope there's a fucking like running story through all the games so you get to piece together the dark history of this company.
Me too. I really hope there's a meta narrative element to this. I would be so excited.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Like, I am looking at some of the screenshots over here, and they did nail the NES aesthetic for sure. It looks like a real compilation of NES games.
Yeah, the only thing it's lacking is like it doesn't have the memory limitations of NES, so they can have like more pixels on the screen, or not pixels but sprites on the screen, which is fine. That's not something that the average person is going to want or care about, because that allows more game development to happen. But yeah, it's just it's a really fascinating concept to me.
Yeah.
The idea
absolutely.
of like
me too.
like it's pretty common for indie games to be like, oh, let's limit ourselves to an 8-bit aesthetic. But for somebody to just go like, let's make 50 full NES games, like what? Okay, why not? I'll buy it. Sure.
Yep. Well, it's coming in 2018, and that's actually, I think, I maybe that might be the first 2018 game that's on my radar.
Sorry,
hello?
the first what?
2018 game that's on my radar. Like,
Oh, gotcha.
I haven't been paying that much attention to games enough so that I say, well, I'm looking forward to this game in 2018. This UFO 50 thing is my first one.
Yeah, same. Oh yeah, the name of the game, UFO 50, definitely worth mentioning as well.
Yeah.
Put it on your wish list, everybody.
Like you had alluded to earlier, it's a reference to Action 50 whatever, that old bad cartridge compilation with the infamous Cheetah Man on it.
Yeah.
Empathy says, I'm worried for everyone who wants to get into game development these days because they've got some hard competition. It is true that it's a lot more competitive than it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in indie gaming. It's like, it used to be you make an indie game and everybody's like, oh, wow, how unique and interesting. And now it's like, oh, there's 5,000 of those every day on Steam. What makes yours different?
Yep. On a slightly related note, I'm actually really happy that West of Loathing is doing well. That's getting so much attention.
I really want to play that, actually.
I should too.
Awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, if I wasn't so busy already trying to complete the series on my channel that I have on at the moment, I would be doing a series on it because I've been a fan of that company, Asymmetric, and the browser Kingdom of Loathing game since like 2003 or 5 or something like that. It's been a long time, and I was kind of watching their. I've been kind of checking in, and they haven't been doing extremely well because browser games, especially ones that have the limitations of a game that was created back in the early 2000s, haven't been doing well. Asymmetric was taking on non-game development work to try to keep the company alive for the last few years. And so the fact that West of Loathing is doing very well makes me very happy for the future of the company.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I loved Kingdom of Loathing back when I played it like you said, like 2003 or something is probably when I was into it. I actually played enough of it to get to the point where I was like min-maxing pretty hard and got to the point where it wasn't fun anymore because I was taking it too seriously, and that's why I stopped. But I had to play it a lot to get to that point. The Kingdom of Loathing, really, really fun game.
It is. It's one of the few games I was doing speedruns of, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like, by that I mean, there are ascensions in which you prestige the game, and I was doing them in a few days, like a week, which is not very impressive, but for me it was more of an achievement because it took me months to do it the first time.
Sure. Yeah, I was actually doing the opposite of speedruns. I was trying to do oxygenarian runs to get that dank plexiglass gear.
Yep. I mean, if you are listening to this and you're playing West of Loathing, check out Kingdom of Loathing if you want to know what we're talking about. It's such a deep rabbit hole. Yeah,
it's a very comedy-based RPG that's like turn-based, and it's all actually drawn, like hand-drawn and scanned into a fucking computer on an old scanner. Like that's their aesthetic, and they stick to it really hard.
Yeah, Emphasis says, I'm a big fan of West of Loathing's art style, even though I know nothing else about it. I do know a little bit about the art style. Remember that this game was made in 2003 and whatever, and bandwidth was actually a big issue, much more so than it is today. Mm-hmm. And, this was the time in which image hosting will say, hey, you know what? You can only host 5 pictures on my image hosting website, and they have to be under 100 megs. Yep. So the reason the art style is the way it is was, number one, the creators couldn't draw, but number two, it also made it a lot easier on the website in terms of the bandwidth allocation.
Yep. Yeah, and like I said, literally drawn by hand on paper and then scanned in. That's how they do it, and then compressed to hell. Yeah. And now that's just their aesthetic that they've doubled down on. Like, it had a practical origin, but now it's just like that's just how they do it. They still have the same fucking scanner.
Wait, they do?
Yeah. I listened to the Idle Thumbs episode where they talked about this game, and they have a lot of inside information because Chris Remo sits next to one of the Kingdom of Loathing developers at his office.
Really? I did
Yeah.
not know that.
So
wow.
he's literally just sat next to this guy as he draws all the art by hand for West of Loathing and scans it into the computer.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Man, I will play that game eventually. I've
Same.
just been too busy. Oh my god.
Yeah. We should make that a game of the week soon.
Do you want to? Because I would actually.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but so maybe like in the coming weeks because we do have something else in mind at the moment.
Yeah. All right.
Ha
I
ha.
wouldn't mind. Hey,
Yeah,
it is a big old nerd
it's Dust
stream.
Fest.
Yeah, it's done.
It is a big old nerd stream.
I was just watching Wild Wild West with that guy before the stream. That's a racist movie. It's a racist movie, is what it is.
I don't remember much about it. I only remember that Will Smith was in it.
Yeah, that's definitely a central part of it. I watched it in theaters when I was 10, and I loved it. Watching it back today was like, whoa. Oh no.
Yeah.
That movie's a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
Let's see.
Did you hear about that time that Republicans compared their new tax code to The Legend of Zelda?
I completely missed this. Actually, I somehow missed this.
It's incredible. Okay, so in a blog post titled "What do the Legend of Zelda and the American Tax Code have in common?" Republicans wrote, "The Legend of Zelda series is Nintendo's best-selling video game franchise, enjoyed by more than 2 generations of gamers. The action-adventure game was released in 1986, only 1 year after Nintendo's founding in 1985. And you know what else was released in 1986? Yeah, you do. The last major reform to the American tax code was signed into law in 1986.
God.
So Nintendo was formed in 1889 as a card company.
Yeah.
So I don't know where the fuck they got the idea that Nintendo was founded in 1985, but that is not true.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the GOP is not my source for video game facts.
It really isn't. I just don't know. I don't even know. I have no idea what their angle was with that. What are they trying to do?
It's, I don't know. It's dangerous to go alone, take this accountant. I have no idea. Did they make that joke at all? Because they should have.
No, that was the whole thing. What I read was the entire thing.
That's it?
That's it.
Why even bother?
Yeah, they also took it down when it turned out that Nintendo was not founded in 1985 or even close. It was in fact founded 94 years earlier.
Well, it's the most random thing though. Like, what? Like, why? I don't understand what their thinking was on this. Like, aside from, hey kids, you know?
Yeah, well, that's exactly the article I'm looking at actually has that picture of the Hey Kids guy with the Music Man shirt.
Yeah, the Ars Technica article talking about this, right?
Yep, that's the one. Hey kids, you know the Zeldas? Republicans are like Zeldas in that they came out in the same year? Kind of.
I mean, they don't even... God. The funniest thing about it to me is that they don't even have to at this point, right? Like, a lot of young Republicans are so much into video game and pop culture that they'll just look at this and be like, whatever, grandpa of our own party.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's like, I don't... You're not going to win gamers over by being like, hey, our last tax code reform was the same day Zelda came out. Like, that's not going to attract anybody to anything. If anything, it's just going to make gamers wake up and be like, oh, actually, the GOP fucking sucks. They don't even know when Nintendo was formed. Fucking nerds.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they've got an intern. They're brainstorming new video game Hey Kids posts right now. The next one's going to be, I don't know, Tetris and Russia, you know, something. Hey kids, you know, did you know that we are very friendly with Russia? We don't want to cross them ever. Tetris.
Yeah, here you go. God, you know what it might be though?
Hire me.
They might be trying to distance themselves from the fucking oh shit, what was that lawyer's name who hates video games? Thompson something.
Oh man,
Thompson,
there's so many of them.
Lawyer. No, there's one.
Oh, I know the guy you're talking about. I just cannot remember.
Video games. I got this. Hang on. Jack
At
Thompson.
Zelda's. Oh, him! Yes, he got this mod.
Yeah. They might just be trying to distance themselves from the Jack Thompsons of the world, because back in the 90s, like, totally Republicans were synonymous with fuck video games. Like, they were like, oh, they're corrupting our youth, there's ultra violence and shit. But now, like, right wing has gone much more libertarian, kind of.
Yeah.
So and as a result, gamers have kind of aligned with them. So maybe this is just like them trying to double down on that, being like, hey gamers, we don't hate you anymore. Actually, we know when The Legend of Zelda came out. Haha. Also, taxes.
I think back then in like the mid 90s when Mortal Kombat came out, everyone was freaking out. I think everyone was on Capitol Hill was on the video game hating spree, including Hillary Clinton at the time.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like as the first lady. But now that the video gamers are also voters,
yeah,
that's
that's about
suddenly out of the window for some reason.
Dunspace is going to be the Doge president. There you go.
Okay, the game I'm thinking about is Cat President. There's no Doge President yet.
Not yet. God, what a game that would be, though.
Oh god,
there's gotta be a mobile game about Doge being president. Prove me wrong.
Okay, I'm just
Internet.
going to Google this right now. Doge President. Doge? Okay, the Google gave me dog peeing blood. That's not what I want. Doge President game. President Doge.
Yep, President Doge in Roblox. Good.
Yeah.
God, the image search. There's definitely images for it. I've got a picture right here of fucking Doge in an Abraham Lincoln top hat and beard.
No, I got it from 2014 actually. Huffington Post. Do you like memes, web games, Comic Sans? It's called Doge 2048, which is the new version of the popular game 2048. There you go.
Fucking. Well, that's not.
I played this damn game!
Yeah, I've played that. That's not presidential. That's just fucking.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's just Doge in a game. Of course that's happened. What I'm talking about is the dank meme of Doge being the president.
Okay, so, you guys, we were talking about last time around standing out in the indie game market. That's your end. Doge president, the game.
I think it's a little late. The
it's
Doge
ironic.
ship has sailed. That's true. It's a vintage meme.
Yeah. Yep. It's had a few years to age. It's become danker over time.
There you go. Oh man. God, speaking of aging, do you hear Tim Allen woke up recently?
Yeah, tell us about the great awakening of Tim Allen.
Yeah, so Tim Allen, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, he's been in cryogenesis for the last 20 years or so.
Nah, they just put him in one of his own strong boxes and just layered him with dry ice.
I mean, that is what is that if not cryogenesis?
Yeah, it's the 2-time version of it. It's do-it-yourself cryogenesis.
But he the first time he's been relevant in like a really long time was he came on Twitter and he just tweeted, "Hey, if we evolved from apes, why are there still apes?" Fucking got him. Just like fucking double finger gunned and was out.
So does anyone know if he was being ironic or being sincere when he said that?
It's hard to say, but he's old enough, I have to imagine that he was being sincere.
Because, there's some people who are very self-aware from that generation, like Pat Sajak, right? Some people who are not, like so many examples, including our president.
Yeah, that's true. He's actually tweeted a little bit since then. He did a show at the Paramount Theater. Comedy ain't pretty and to some not so funny. Fucking got him.
Is that the name of his show?
No, he just tweeted that.
Oh, thank God for that, because that would be the worst name, honestly.
It would be a bad name. Here's another tweet from Tim Allen on August 19th. Try this. If Jimmy cracked corn and no one's cares, why did we sing a song about him? Fucking got him.
Is he like just like workshopping for his stand-up routine on Twitter? Is that what it is?
Yeah, right. That's it.
I wonder if that's what it is.
Oh man. Okay, if you go farther down, in July he tweeted a picture of a Photoshop of Tim and M, which is his face photoshopped onto Eminem. That's pretty good.
Is he trying that that newfangled post-ironic millennial humor? Is that what it's trying to do?
I don't know, dude.
Fucking maymays.
In March, he tweeted 2 more shows to tape for this season, man time flies. But flies is spelled FLYS.
Oh, so it's about zippers.
It doesn't.
I have no idea.
I think it's spelled the same way regardless. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, there's not really a lot going on his Twitter, except he suddenly comes out of the woodwork to, like, totally fucking truth blast everybody about evolution and Jimmy cracking corn. And everything else is just him, like, retweeting stuff that he's been on. Which apparently he still does. I didn't know he was on this many things. But yeah, he still does things.
Hey, you gotta keep relevant somehow.
I guess so.
Yeah, even if it's rhetorically kicking evolutionists' ass.
Yeah. God, what a guy.
It might be this is just a run up to Home Improvement 2, Electric Boogaloo.
God, imagine if they brought back an old sitcom and just called it that, but with 2 at the end. That would be so weird. Instead of just another season or a reboot or something, it's just like, no, this is Home Improvement 2.
MASH 2.
That's what they should have called the new season of Twin Peaks. It was Twin Peaks 2.
Twin Peaks 2. Oh god. Oh man, everything 90s is coming back now.
If the Earth is round, why do circles exist? There you go.
Yeah, just taken directly from the mouths of flat earthers.
Yeah. All right.
Oh man.
What do you think? Should we move on to game of the week, or do you have one more topic you want to squeeze in?
Yeah, I just want to squeeze in a topic because the
Sure.
game of the week this week is actually a board game.
It is.
So I went and found a list on BoardGameGeek.com about the games with weird, odd, unusual, and unorthodox themes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go through some of them here. There is one for All My Children, which is an old soap. And let's see what else. Antler Island, which is the entire purpose of Antler Island is to you're a deer, you're a stag, is to mate with a doe.
Okay.
The more does you mate with, the higher your score, and the more likely you are to win.
Just like in real life.
Yeah, that's essentially what deer life is, except that now you are simulating having sex with a female deer.
That's evolution, man. Natural selection.
Yep. Exactly. Baby Boomer. It's about a baby with a shotgun. I'm not kidding about that. Automatic weapon, actually.
Good.
Big John. The object of Big John is to get rid of all the Big John scuzzies in your scuzz bucket by adding them to your Big John and flushing the handle.
There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on there. Apparently there's a game. I'm just reading through this. They didn't give much of an explanation for the game, quote unquote, called Black Magic Ritual Kit. I've got to see this now. Black Magic Ritual Kit. It is, please read carefully. You have in your possession a kit that allows you to simulate this magic circle, accurate with all the specifics needed for the hour of casting according to traditional rituals. And
Okay.
No claims are made with this kit. As to results, the ritual has been modified to assure beneficial spirits. Use of this kit for other purposes is beyond the control of the maker. Wow.
Sure, beneficial spirits. What if modified from what?
I know.
Okay.
Oh god. So that's that.
Wow. That doesn't sound like a board game at all.
I know it doesn't, right? It sounds like actually you want to summon a familiar to, I don't know, spy on your neighbor and make sure they're not stealing your Amazon packages or something.
Oh man, Matthew Mercer apparently has a neighbor who's been walking off with his packages. He put up a camera and posted on Twitter a video of somebody just nonchalantly walking up to his front door, grabbing a package and walking away. And he was just like, what the fuck, dude?
Wow, that guy probably thinks he's rolling like natural 20s on his sneak.
Yeah, it was a woman actually.
Oh, okay.
Just this, yeah. I mean, they were getting away with it until they fucking did it several times in a row. Like, enough times that Matt set up a fucking camera at his door.
How does that old saying go? Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Oh, yes. It's old proverb from from Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, well, that sums that up anyway.
Definitely.
There's a game called Blasphemy, which I have played. Actually, this is a game I played myself. And in Blasphemy, you're essentially one of 4 competing Jesuses, and only one of you is going to become the genuine Messiah.
Right.
And the object of the game, the winning condition is to get yourself nailed to a cross.
So one of you
ascend.
Only one of you becomes the Jesus.
Yeah, only one of you becomes
and
the
goes
Jesus.
goes on to star in The Big Lebowski.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's a movie tie-in. It's not really. So, okay, I played this game. I played it at a gaming convention. It's a bad game, and I don't mean the theme. I just mean the mechanics of it. It's kind of like you play Snakes and Ladders, I'm sure, right?
Probably.
Snakes, Ladders, and Shoots, or whatever.
Yeah, I know that it's a game about rolling die and seeing if you win or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. Except that you remember that from the Bible that Jesus was, Jesus of Nazareth, and he was a carpenter before embarking on his epic journey to become, the godhood, right?
The godhood.
So,
yes.
Hello, Green? Are you still there?
Hello? Yes.
Uh-oh.
And we're back. Sorry about that. Zen had a mysterious tech issue and was unable to hear us for a second there, but he's back.
I think I know what it is, actually. I think that I was describing a blasphemous board game, and certain forces were not too happy about that.
That's true. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So instead, let's just move on to talking about our game of the week, Arkham Horror.
Yeah.
Definitely not a blasphemous board game whatsoever.
Yeah. Arkham Horror. You and I, let's just say Green and I, both played it together on Tabletop Simulator live on stream a few weeks ago before my life just went mad again. And yeah, generally I had a good time. What is Arkham Horror actually, Green? Why don't you explain it for us?
Arkham Horror is a board game. It's a very complicated board game in a lot of ways. It's a dice roller, and there's a map that you walk around on. And the basic premise is there is an elder god awakening from the Lovecraft universe, and which god it is randomly selected, and each one has different powers that will impact how gameplay proceeds. And to defeat this god, you have to either wait until he wakes up and then kill him, or close enough gates, basically, like gates to other dimensions. So your gameplay loop is basically like you walk around, you try to get items that allow you to be more powerful in combat. You get like items and spells and abilities and friends, and then you use these to kill monsters and close gates. And basically everything in the game is done through dice rolls. The dice rolling system is a little bit unique in that a successful roll, instead of being like you add up all your numbers, it's just a 5 or a 6 is a success, a 1 through 4 is a fail, and then the better you are at something, the more dice you get to try it on. So it's kind of D&D light in that way. You've got a bunch of different skills like your lore and your luck and your speed and your sneak and your fight. And these all can come into play in various scenarios that are just done by drawing a card and seeing what it says.
Right.
So
I think
that's my rundown.
I think D&D Lite is a very good way of putting it, because what this is essentially, it's recapturing kind of like a campaign kind of feeling, like an epic adventure,
totally.
without the freeform aspects of actual live, tabletop role playing, right?
Yeah, it's a more structured version of that.
Right. Right. And a lot of people are more comfortable with having more structured and less almost improvisational in a lot of ways, as tabletop RPGs can get.
Mm-hmm. It's a board game that's equipped to play the D&D itself, or the D&D, the the DM itself. So you don't need somebody who's putting all that love and effort into it. Because a DM in D&D needs to be handling a lot of shit, and this board game is basically the board game's creator's attempt at having a built-in DM.
Right.
And
right.
So there's a ton of text in this game. There's hundreds and hundreds of cards that all describe certain situations that might arise and how players need to respond to them. So it's randomized. It's a randomized D&D campaign that's simplified enough that it can be a D&D campaign without a DM.
Right. So you and I played it on Tabletop Simulator, and the run through that we did was about 3.5 hours. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
oh god, yeah, it was a long ass game.
It was a long ass game. It's generally a long game even with Tabletop Simulator. It's even longer without, if you played it live, I think, because of all the shuffling you have to do.
Yeah, not to mention the setup and teardown part of it. This game takes about 10 minutes to get laid out, and at least 5 minutes to put away.
Right. Right, but through that adventure, through that 3.5 hours, there were ups and downs. People what happened? We were hurt a few times for sure by various monsters wandering around town. Went into other worlds and battled evil forces, or at least otherworldly ones. The town heated dangerously close to disaster, but we managed somehow to prevail. If I remember correctly.
We were one turn away from losing that game. That was the most down to the wire victory I've ever seen in Arkham Horror.
Yeah, but wait, in your previous experiences of Dark and Horror, oh my god, Arkham Horror. So what you're saying is that either you won by a mile or the game crushed you?
Basically, I wouldn't say it's that bad, but we literally were one turn away from losing that game.
Yeah,
it was over. It was so. Let me explain what happened. We were getting close to the end of the game, and then suddenly a card popped up that was like, "Hey, you gotta get to a certain place and sacrifice a bunch of stuff that we had, but then we didn't have." I think what did it want from us? Clue tokens or something? But we had to basically sacrifice an enormous amount of resources that we were using to win the game to stop that card from doing its thing. And every time we didn't do it, it had a 50% chance of just raising the terror level and cursing us or something. What was it?
I don't remember exactly, but suffice to say, it was
yeah, if we failed the card, it would curse both of us and raise the terror level to 10. The terror level raising to 10 would have woken up the big boss, and the big boss's thing is it curses all players, and if you're already cursed, then it kills you. So basically, if we let that card do its thing, we lose the game. 100%. No chance of recovery. And so we're just sitting there fuck it, we got to get over to it. But then bad shit kept on happening, and one of us died and had to go to the hospital, and we couldn't make it. And we were just you know what, fuck it, just fucking dive into other dimensions, close the gates as quick as possible, and then maybe we can win before this card fucks us. And it got one tick away from ending the game before we finally managed to win.
Yeah,
it was very exciting.
Yeah, it was really thrilling.
Yeah.
One of the nice things about board games like this is that it's all completely cooperative. I should say, I forgot to mention this.
Yep.
And
yeah. You can play with as many people as you want, and you're all working toward the common goal of beating the game, not each other.
Yeah. So it becomes have you played Pandemic before?
Yes.
Yeah, so to me, it has the same kind of feeling in which we are all united, trying to marshal our resources together and trying to use actual teamwork against overwhelming odds. And I like that part of it.
Yep. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was really fun. There was one time where it was like I was completely fucked. I was like hobbling around on no health, and I couldn't afford a trip to the hospital. And I was like, Zen, if we meet up, could you please give me $4 so that I can get health? And he was like, sure. And we did that, and that actually ended up being instrumental because then I was able to go and close the gate instead of spending 5 turns at the hospital getting healed.
Yeah, I had a whole $7. This was the 1920s, by the way. Inflation was not quite as bad as it was now.
Yeah, in this game, having $5 is like you're fucking rolling. You're set.
Yeah, but yeah, I had a great time, honestly. And the original plan was for us to, kind of play for an hour and a half, our usual stream time, and get a feel for it. But I just wanted to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a long-ass game. The first several times I played this game with friends in real life, he had just bought the game and didn't totally understand the rules, and I had never played it before. So we were like just constantly referring to the rule book, and we got to a restaurant that closes at 8 at like 3:30 and started playing this game, and the restaurant kicked us out before we finished the campaign because it was just... we just didn't know. We couldn't figure out what was going on. We had to spend so much time reading the rules. This game can take forever, and it's really complicated.
Yeah, so it's a good thing, at least for me, that Green was around to teach me. It's also a good thing that Tabletop Simulator, that mod, automates a lot of the things, like card shuffling and stuff, so that it didn't take quite that long.
God, yeah, totally. Like, one really good thing this game does in Tabletop Simulator, or the specific mod we were using, is it has little counters for your meters. You've got money and health and stamina, and these are all things that you just count with. And in the game, you have little tokens that represent these things. It can take a long ass time to fuck with all those tokens when you're taking a bunch of damage, or healing a lot. And it's really, really good to just be able to hit plus and minus buttons instead. So that was nice.
Yeah, the mod is on Steam Workshop for anyone who wants to find it. It's really good in terms of quality of life stuff.
Yeah, do you remember which one we used?
I don't, unfortunately, but it's people on Tabletop Simulator Workshop are pretty dedicated for the most part in faithfully recreating their games. So
totally. Yeah, I want to recommend the specific one we used just because it was so goddamn good.
Yeah.
How do I get to my subscriptions? Fuck, sorry, go keep talking.
Yeah, so I like board games. Like my family and I, which is to say my 2 sisters, especially the middle sister for me, she's really gotten into board games. I recently bought a game called Betrayal at the House on the Hill. And there is some similarities between this and Arkham in that it's almost like a campaign. A bunch of people go into a haunted house. But the big difference with that is that there's a traitor that nobody knows who it is, and it's revealed halfway through the game. And then all of the items and allies that you've collected through the game exploring the mansion, you're pitting it against the traitor, and the traitor's pitting it against you. So that's a really interesting mechanic.
Man, that sounds fun.
It is so fun, and we talked about this actually, that one of these days we should do that. Since I know how to play the game, if we gather some people together, I can teach how to play it.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I think Dunce and Doxy play that game as well.
Oh, they do? Oh, fantastic. Yeah, we should totally do that sometime.
Dunce says it's lit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
that would be super fun.
I actually like that better than Arkham, because even though Arkham is a much deeper, maybe more intense experience, Betrayal plays in a lot faster, and it makes a big difference. Yeah. My sisters are busy. Both of them have intense professional careers. So whenever we do get together, we want to play something that has that interest and theme of a kind of a spooky occult game, but at the same time it's easier to play. So that would be my criticism of Arkham Horror, I think.
Yeah, it's a long, involved game with a ton of pieces and a ton of learning. And if you're not willing to sit down and commit to it, then I had a group of 3, including myself. We were all willing to commit every Monday to playing a game of Arkham, and more often than not, the fucking restaurant closed before we finished that goddamn game.
That's a commitment.
Yeah.
That's a real commitment, I have to say.
Yeah, it was a fun time, but it was also frustrating because it's just so long.
Yeah.
And you get there and like one person's 15 minutes late, and you're like, well, shit, dude, we're never gonna finish now. It's fun though.
Who owns the game? Like your friend?
My friend Scott, who unfortunately moved away to Oregon, so we haven't played since then. Or not Oregon, Washington.
Yeah, I was going to say that maybe one of you in the gaming group can look for Eldritch Horror, which I hear is streamlines things quite a bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's by the same people, except that instead of running around the city, you're running around the world, and the game mechanics have been streamlined so that it's not as finicky. Amber Frost is asking why not play at somebody's apartment.
Nobody really had space for it.
It's a huge game.
It's a huge game, and it was more convenient to go because we were also drinking while we played. So like the place we went had a new set of beers every week, and they were really cheap. And it was just an ideal place to meet up.
I mean, it's not exactly the same, obviously, but maybe you and your friends can play over Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah, I've actually, since playing it on Tabletop Sim, I've considered trying to get that together because it was less bad than I thought it would be by a huge margin.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it might be overall easier to play just because of the lack of setup and breakdown.
Yeah, and then you can, drink all you want at home.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun time. It was a pretty ideal place to meet up and play board games. By the way, the mod we used for Tabletop Sim is called Arkham Horror HLAG Edition.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that stands for, but that's the one we used, and it was really quite impressive. Everything was reproduced to incredible quality.
Tabletop Sim is God's gift to us all, says Dunspace. I have to say that I think it's cool so far that, as far as I know, a lot of the major board game manufacturers haven't stomped all over the mods and allowed people to play their games in a more convenient fashion.
Yeah, it's something that worries me because it's 100% illegal.
It is, honestly.
There's no gray area here. This is just straight up copyright infringement.
It is. But I mean, I don't know if I'm the minority here, probably, but if I had the space, I live in a 700 square foot apartment. If I had the space, I would be collecting these games anyway and the money, of course, but I would be collecting these games because I just like games. And knowing how to play the game, learning how to play the game, and being able to play it with my friends who are all over the country from me wouldn't deter me from actually buying those games because I just like them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Arkham Horror, also the physical edition, very high quality.
Yeah.
Like all the little pieces are very lovingly crafted.
Like Fantasy Flight Games, I believe that's the name of the publisher. They have gorgeous games. The artwork, everything's so good on their games. That's part of the reason people want to buy the physical copies of it.
Totally. Yeah, it's a good one.
Like, there's so much stuff I want from them. There's the Arkham Horror living card game, so to speak, in which is, instead of a board game, it's a card game and the expansions that you buy. And that I want to play Netrunner, Android Netrunner, which Mike Morback, creator of Paranautical Activity, is totally into, just super mad about that game, and I like the idea. Have you heard of it?
Oh man, I have heard of it. I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do that some week.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's on Tabletop Sim.
I'm sure. And then the Game of Thrones card game, I've watched a video about the mechanics. Seems really interesting to me.
Never even heard of that one.
Yeah, it's like, it's basically a card game in which you attack each other using schemes or war or wits, that kind of thing. So that thematically is really interesting to me too. Much like Game of Thrones itself,
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll be seeing more games by this manufacturer in the future, it sounds like, because these are surely all on Tabletop Sim.
I'm sure. The Dark Souls board game looks pretty dope too, says Downspace.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind trying that, even though I don't know anything about Dark Souls, actually.
It doesn't seem like you need to know anything about Dark Souls. It seems really interesting. I think we might do that one on a future on a future episode as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you're into it.
I'm into
that
it.
Sounds awesome.
I love board games.
Yeah. So yeah, tabletop sim. By the way, just to speak briefly about just the medium in which we played this game, tabletop sim is really impressive with like the number of tools that it gives you for doing stuff. It's it's really excellent. It's very thoughtful about what you need when you're dealing with a physical game like that. And yeah, it's got so many tools that make it so flexible, which I think is really impressive for a game to be that flexible and as usable as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, highly recommend Tabletop Simulator. It's kind of, I expected it from looking at it to play like shit, and then I actually played it myself. I was like, oh, this isn't bad at all.
Yeah. That was my very first experience with playing Tabletop Simulator actually, and it ran very well. It went very well.
Yeah, it's very intuitive. In a way that's surprising for the amount you can do. Like, there's a lot of features that we did not fuck with that time, but there's abilities to like draw on the board and stuff like that, which can be really useful for more flexible games like D&D or something, where it's like, oh, there's some lava here now, and you just draw a fucking pool. Stuff like that. It's very supportive of just anything that you might want to do, and it from what I understand, it's very easy to put your own stuff in it too. Like if you wanted to make a D&D map as a PNG and then just stick it in Tabletop Simulator, apparently that's very easy. I haven't tried it myself, but from what I've heard.
Yeah, I haven't done much of it with it, but it seems really powerful for what it is. Yeah,
it's such a good engine for just like, here's fucking all the tools you could ever need. Now have fun with it,
Mm-hmm.
And workshop integration makes that incredible, because then there's just pages and pages and pages and pages of perfect games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I enjoyed our playthrough of Arkham Horror that time. So yeah, I guess that's what I have to say about the game in summary. It's just a really good board game. A little bit long, a little bit finicky, but worth the play for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Arkham Horror is fucking good, especially if you have like 6 hours and a few friends to play with. Yep. It's awesome.
Yeah. Our game of the week next week is something that's actually very different from, a mechanics heavy board game.
It's pretty much the opposite of Arkham Horror.
It pretty much is. Yeah. And it is The Beginner's Guide. This is the game, of course, by Davey Wreden, who did the Stanley Parable. It was released almost 2 years ago now, actually, come to think of it. And we both played it, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of discussion spawned from that next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to be playing that on the stream next Wednesday. So stop by 7:30, and then next Thursday is going to be next week's podcast.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Also, whether you're here or you're listening to this in the VOD, make sure to make your way over to Zen's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Zen and Cyrene. He's got all kinds of crazy shit going on over there. It's great.
Yeah.
Go follow him.
Yep, Metopia and Danganronpa.
Danganronpa.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, it's Danganronpa. Yeah, I'm still doing a playthrough of that slowly. It's a great time. It's very mind-bandy in a good way. So if you're a fan of that game, I'm playing through it.
Yeah, make your way over there, and if you like these podcast VODs, Zen's gonna have next week's, so at least make your way over there for that. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.